Now will we see the magic?
All right, where's Murray? Okay, who is it?
This is Jesus, kid.
Know then that it is the year 10,191.
Yes, we are bored. We're all bored now.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Hello, and welcome to Mary vs. the Movies with your host, Mary Jones.
And Dennis Ling.
Are you still going for the Batman voice?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
It's my D.A.R.Y.L voice.
Well, let's just dive right in then.
Yeah.
Have you seen D.A.R.Y.L?
No.
Okay, neither have I. I don't know what this movie is. Originally I selected Dragnet. I don't remember what made me select Dragnet for the month, but it was just like, yeah, okay, well, let's just do Dragnet because Dennis has complained about it a lot. And then we had Dream a Little Dream sitting in on the hard drive, just waiting to come out, just for a time when we were like really busy and just didn't have time to record an episode. And right now we're very busy, and so whatever. And then I thought, I guess we're doing a couple of D movies, and then I saw because I have a spreadsheet, and I saw on the spreadsheet D.A.R.Y.L. I thought, all right, let's finally get to D.A.R.Y.L.
And my other brother, D.A.R.Y.L.
I wish that's what this was.
Yeah.
If I had Larry, D.A.R.Y.L, and D.A.R.Y.L in this movie, I'd be very happy.
Larry, D.A.R.Y.L, and D.A.R.Y.L the movie. I would love to see that.
Look, Newhart the film. Is it good that they weren't turning TV shows into movies in the 80s? Probably.
Yeah.
Would I have watched the Newhart movie? Absolutely. Do I want to see Bob Newhart up on the screen fighting angry like Vermonters? Yes. Especially like weird backwoodsmen. But I have a feeling that's not what the movie D.A.R.Y.L is.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know that we're going to have a very long intro for this because I don't really have a whole lot of context for this.
I don't know anything.
I don't know if this is a movie about a child who is a computer genius, or is this about a child who is a computer? Because...
So you're thinking it's Small Wonders style?
Yes! I think he might be a computer.
Okay.
D.A.R.Y.L might be AI. And do I have thoughts on AI? Oh my God, do I have thoughts on AI? But
It's great.
Oh no. Yeah, I'm thinking like full on Luddite, smash everything that's made of metal. Like I don't need any of this. Would that get rid of my podcast? That's fine. Nobody needs this. I'm just doing this because I'm bored.
Smash everything metal.
Yeah, with metal. Okay, so there's sparks, whatever. Yeah, D.A.R.Y.L, if I remember correctly, has periods between each letter.
Yeah.
Which means it's an acronym.
All right, so I wrote this down. I wrote D.A.R.Y.L.
Oh, you actually prepared.
I prepared.
And by prepared, you mean like 30 seconds before I started recording,
Exactly.
You grabbed a piece of paper.
Yeah. All right, I think we should both come up with what we think.
Digital?
Okay, digital.
Analog? No. Wait, digital and analog are the opposite of each other. Wait a minute. Okay. Digital, oral? No. Like A-U-R-A-L.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think A is?
All right, so
I'm sure you have an idea already.
So Mary. So
Yeah.
Dennis, I'm gonna say
What is D?
dynamic.
Dynamic, sure.
Dynamic. Automated.
Oh, that's a good one. All right.
Robot.
Yes. I think robot is both. Wait. Because you've already got stuff thought out. Let me go first.
All right,
since I'm
that's
obviously
what I was trying to do.
Yeah, well, okay. So I said oral, but
I'll put oral.
Yeah,
I like the analog.
God, analog, digital analog. That's kind of how my brain works. Look, I was an English major. I was not a
digital and or analog.
Sure. R. I mean, robot's really good. I can't really get better than that.
All right, robot.
Robot.
I don't
Why?
know. Why?
Why? Yoga. No. Yoga lover.
All right, that's what I'm putting.
Digital oral yoga, like robot yoga lover. No. Yikes.
Yikes. Yikes.
Are you just going with yikes? Yeah. So what is yours?
Fighting.
No, you can't.
With Y, F-Y.
No,
Y.
that's not a thing. Also, how are the Phils doing, buddy?
Weren't they up one, I think? I don't know.
Oh, whatever. The point being, no, you can't have fightin' be the Y.
Actually, I was thinking Android. Oh.
Android's pretty good. Android
Android with a Y at the end.
No.
Oh, what to do with Y?
Why?
Yoga is probably as good. Yeah, string ski.
String ski. Folks, it's been a long week.
All right, I'm going to put you love. Dynamic automated robot you love.
Dynamic automated robot you love.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm pretty sure D.A.R.Y.L's a child. So
Everybody loves children.
I don't know about that. I don't dislike children. I'm just weirded out by them because they have questions and I don't know how to answer them.
Yeah, yoga lover.
I don't know. What is why?
Yugoslavian
Iterbium. Iterbium. I don't know. Yeah, why is a bad one? Why is one of those letters that shouldn't even exist, and yet we have it in the English language, and I don't know why. So I have no idea what this movie is. I think it's a robot child, and who knows? Does the government want him? Do evil Russians want him?
Is there an evil robot child?
I mean, aren't all robot children kind of evil? I mean, isn't that the premise of Megan?
Yeah, I guess.
Child's Play. Yeah, robot kid, Small Wonder, that's a bad child. I think I used to confuse this movie with The Wizard, which was a movie where Fred Savage and his brother win a Nintendo tournament or something. So
Does it have a Nintendo glove?
Oh, I think that might be where the Nintendo glove came from.
Wow.
Yeah.
For some reason I can picture Fred Savage with that glove on.
Yeah. And I never saw with The Wizard or whatever, but to me I think my brain slotted this into the same sort of category. Or I don't know, The Last Starfighter. It's boys and computers. Yeah. And that's kind of my entire impression of D.A.R.Y.L is just boys and computers, boys are computers. I have no idea what this movie is.
So do you think this will be bad?
Yes. I think there's a reason why I didn't catch this. Because, I saw a lot of dumb 80s movies for children. I've seen Goonies more than once. Goonies is not a good movie.
Do you think someone dies?
No.
Is there a dog?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just feels like movie with kids in the 80s, there's going to be a dog.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a love triangle.
Do you think the kid will actually be a nerd? I mean...
Yes.
But I mean, how they'll cast non-nerds as nerds?
Are you complaining about nerd representation?
Exactly.
You don't deserve representation. No, I have no idea. Do
you think D&D will be mentioned?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, it's interesting that D&D was mentioned in E.T., but I don't think this is going to be a movie on the level of E.T.
I think D&D was an early 80s thing, and it kind of started to peter out.
And then came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I have no idea what this could be something like The Last Navigator or I don't know, man. This is just one of those movies that I always knew it was out there. It kind of passed me by, and I just thought, you know what, may as well just bite the bullet. Finally see D.A.R.Y.L.
If it's bad, I think it's would be a good opportunity to just see what does it steal from.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's good or passable,
then fine.
Yeah.
So, all right. I really don't have anything more to say about this movie.
Nah.
So, should we go watch it?
Yeah.
We're charging our battery, and now we're full of energy. We are the robots. We are the robots. We are the robots. We are the robots.
So, Here's a proposal for you.
Yep.
What if E.T. was actually about a really dumb robot?
Dumb robot. This is the smartest robot.
Is it? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, man.
It's smarter than Data?
Not that smart.
No.
Because, he hasn't learned as much. But he learned pole position.
Look, man, I can play pole position. I'm sorry, I'm not exactly impressed by that one. Oh wow, he's able to make the car. Look, I can go around those same tracks too. Could I do like Suzuki one or whatever? Yeah, I was good at pole position. Thank you very much. I was also good at Missile Command. That's right, I could have beat War Games.
Yeah.
Look, this movie, Michael McKean, you deserve better.
And this is like 2 years after Spinal Tap?
This is like a year after Spinal Tap or something like that. I know. Look, he's not in it as much as you would think, given that he's got top billing.
He's not as much as you would think, given it's like 2 freaking hours long.
This movie is a slog. Oh my God. Like, I really didn't expect this to be, like, it just keeps going and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
This is kind of a weird movie in that it starts off not terrible.
The opening is kind of fun.
Okay, so like obviously, yeah, we're right. Robot boy, and there is like a guard dog that shows up at one point.
Yeah, so
and
dog is fulfilled.
Yep, and people definitely die in this movie.
Yeah,
so we were wrong. People die.
A guy like gleefully commits suicide in the beginning of the film.
That's such a dumb movie. Oh my God.
He's like, hey, they're chasing us. I'm going to commit suicide so the boy can live.
About that.
Because that's what scientists do.
Yeah, no, of course.
They don't care about their own lives. They have to propel science.
If I ever meet a scientist who would rather commit suicide than let, I don't know, somebody, in quotation marks, get his computer, no. I mean, okay, so first of all, I'm not entirely sure, like, who are they on the run from in the beginning of this movie? Is that ever clear? I guess the government?
Yeah.
I'm always a little annoyed by that as a plot point. Not because, look, believe me, I am as paranoid about, the United States government and the military-industrial complex as anybody. Maybe more.
This is the same military from Real Genius.
Sure. You know what? That makes sense, actually.
They just want to do bad things.
Yeah. I mean, at least in E.T., you got a sense that the government doesn't want to actually kill E.T. They actually do want to study him and figure out what the heck is this thing. Yeah. And I keep thinking about E.T. because the movie, it's not dissimilar. At one point, my sister walked in while we were watching this, and she said, well, at least you're not watching Mac and Me. No, Mac and Me would have been a better movie.
It's fun.
Mac and Me is actually fun. Like, that's not a good movie.
No.
And it is, like, full of insane product placements.
Yeah.
But that actually makes it more entertaining. And also, the fact that those aliens are disgusting looking. Whereas, instead, we've just got, like, what is his name? Barret Oliver, who's just, like, a regular child.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not that, he's perfectly fine in the role.
I will say he was not annoying.
No.
In fact, even Turtle was not bad. Like, Turtle deserved like to be in like a Sandlot type movie.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with the kid actors in this film. That's not the issue. The issue is just like
and Hooky.
the older sister. Yeah, okay, Turtle. First of all, stop saying that your sister's a hooker. That's just weird and creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the child actors in this film. There's nothing wrong with the actors in this film per se. It's just that the movie's a slog, and it kind of doesn't make sense on the back half. Because you have kind of a similar, I brought up E.T., and it's that whole idea of we have this strange child who, is found. Okay, so you said it starts with a suicide, right? Yeah. And it does. We open with a car chase. And, it's a pretty good car chase, actually. The first half hour feels like it's from the 1970s. It does not feel like it's 1985. Or if it's 1985, it's like the 1985 of, like, the A-Team and, like, The Fall Guy.
I think it's the first hour is like a 70s movie until the military pulls in.
Then it becomes very
1980s. It's 1980s from then on.
Absolutely. Up until that point, It does have this weird kind of low-key vibe of strange boy is found in the woods. Local social services take him in, and they place him with a foster family. The dad of which is Michael McKean, as we mentioned him earlier, and it's all very that sort of domestic drama type thing of, hey, now we have a kid and we're trying to adjust to it, and he's a very precocious child, and it's a little strange, but he is like fitting in with us pretty well. He joins the little league team that I coach, and the mom is like, he's great. In fact, he's a little too perfect because I never actually have to scold him. And, he's always cleaning up after himself. It's just, in fact, I'm barely even having to be a mom. And so you have this kind of interesting...
He hits nothing but home runs.
Right. It's like the child's a little too perfect. And that's actually kind of makes for an interesting story.
Yeah.
Right?
It's steroids.
Boy, that kid's gonna have the worst like Tommy John's elbow by the time he's 14. And he ends up making friends with this kid Turtle who lives next door. And okay, first of all, can we just say like everybody lives in giant houses.
Yeah.
When we first meet Michael McKean, he's like apparently like a construction guy, and it's not like as a construction guy you can't have a nice house, but like we're talking like the guy who owns the town bank. Nice house, okay? Like this is so 1980s where everybody lives in what is essentially a mansion. It's always a little off-putting where people, honest to God, I was thinking about like Say Anything for whatever reason, and I just kept thinking like she lives in a big house, but then you find out her dad's a crook. You never have that moment in this movie. I'm not saying that he's playing a crook, but it's just kind of like, why is your house so nice and big? You work in construction, and that's fine, and your wife just teaches piano. She doesn't have a job otherwise. Like, what's going on here? But anyway, like I'm just saying, like the economics of the 1980s quite different from the 2020 whatevers. So he shows up and is placed with them, and he's a little too perfect, and it's a little weird. He plays video games, and he plays pole position, and of course he beats pole position. Like this kid is perfect at everything to the point where he starts observing that like he's too perfect and decides to like dial it back. And so during one of the games he can't even hit a home run, and he starts mouthing off at his parents because it's sort of like, oh, I have to misbehave, otherwise I'm too perfect and they're not going to really be okay with that. So that's kind of an interesting idea for a character study, right?
And we've seen this with Data in Star Trek.
Absolutely. That's one thing that's really frustrating in watching this is because I'm like, well, in like a couple of years, you're going to have Star Trek The Next Generation, and you're going to have like the same kind of exploration of what is being human, what is, being an android or whatever, what is imperfection. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be explored over several seasons.
So, sometimes interesting, sometimes annoying.
Well, look, I think we all remember the episode where Data tries to learn about comedy.
From Joe Piscopo.
It
was horrifying.
And it's a bad episode, man. Like, between that and like him being fully functional with Tasha Yar, there's a lot of cringe, but there's also a lot of good, right? Look,
there is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And look, hey man, I'll go to bat for that last season of Picard any day of the week.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great summation of the whole
last one,
thing. Yeah, as I said, the last season of Picard.
Season 2, I don't know.
But anyway, so D.A.R.Y.L. So he's vaguely perfect, and then all of a sudden his supposed real parents suddenly show up, and of course they're the scientists who actually helped create him.
Who we haven't seen until that moment.
Yeah, we've never seen them before, and that's fine.
Yeah.
The whole like, oh, your real parents have shown up and are going to take you away. Like, we've both seen the musical Annie. Mm-hmm. Not unlike that in a way.
Right.
This is something that is playing with a lot of like familiar tropes from the time period. But so they take him away, and they take him to a government facility in what is, judging by the license plates, Virginia. So obviously, this is all, federal.
If we didn't know he was a robot, I mean, the periods and you kind of figure it out from the poster.
Oh, you figure it out immediately.
Yeah, but like apparently they tried to hide it before the movie came out.
How could they hide it? My God, they put like little dots between all the letters in his name. I'm sorry, nobody does that. I mean, it's an acronym. He's obviously a robot. Why are they trying? Like, I'm sorry. Like, oh, we're really like keeping it wraps on what his real identity is. No, you're not.
They didn't have a high expectation of the IQ back then.
We were both alive back then. Were we dumb back then? Well, okay, yes, we were dumb back then. I mean, this was the Reagan period. But look, I'm just saying, like, come on.
But apparently, like, at theaters, they had a thing where when you would go there, you would they had a contest that if you could guess what the acronyms stood for, you would win a prize, which is a little poster. But
no, I would not want to embarrass myself.
We didn't win.
No,
with our attempts.
So what was
it? Was not Yoga Lover or You Love.
Still better than anything they came up with in this. What was the acronym, honey?
So it was
Yeah, what does D.A.R.Y.L stand for?
It stands for Data Analyzing Robot Youth Life Form.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. A data analyzing robot, fine.
Yeah,
That's-
because he's observing.
I can
humans.
live with that.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a computer. Youth life form. Who made this? They should be on a list.
Yeah.
You decide we're going to make like a super genius robot, but we're going to put it into a little boy's body. And that little boy's body is like 90% organic except for part of his brain. No. I'm sorry. Again, this is something that gets you put. No, you're going to jail. This is creepy.
So it wasn't Fightins.
No, fightins. Speaking of going to jail.
It wasn't Yikes. I liked Yikes.
No, you know what? Here's the thing. It is yikes. They may not have intended it, but it is very much a yikes.
Wasn't R.L.
No, it wasn't oral. Yeah. So this is a dumb idea, right?
It's just slow.
I'm talking about two different things.
Oh,
One,
okay.
the film is slow. The film just has terrible pacing. Like I said, the first hour is kind of interesting in that, what if somebody who's mostly human but isn't quite like everybody else, drops in and we figure out what it is to be human and what it is to be divergent from the mainstream. Like that's interesting, and that's something a lot of people grapple with, right?
Yeah.
But then it becomes, okay, but he's a supercomputer who's being hunted by the government for some dumb reason because he's supposed to be analyzing data. So they have this idea that, we're melding, computer analytics with humans who, have the five senses and everything.
With the magic of boys.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God. Again, when you put it that way, it really sounds bad. Like,
Oh, 80s.
I don't feel good watching that. There are the reasons this isn't good. So, once the government gets involved and it just becomes like okay, we're taking the boy away from you. They go back to the government facility and they all decide to experiment on him. But the one scientist has fallen in parent. Not fallen in love, but fallen in parent with D.A.R.Y.L, so that he's just like, okay, I'll help you escape so that you can go back to, the couple who've been raising you for the last, 2 weeks or whatever.
But also the lady scientists.
Well, she's sort of ambiguous for a while because she doesn't believe that he's a real boy. You got that whole Pinocchio thing going on here too.
Yeah.
Is he a real boy? And here's the thing. Okay, if he's mostly organic life form, which is what they say. He has blood and guts and everything, and he has a organic brain. It's just that part of him is computer. I mean, is that any different from having a pacemaker? I'm just saying that's a little weird. At one point they say that he wasn't born from a woman or they practically give us the Macbeth line. What do you then what did you do? Grow him in a vat? They never explain how it is that he I'm thinking about this, right? I mean, it's a little bit like the Jesus question.
Okay.
In that, what is D.A.R.Y.L's DNA? Right? If he is flesh and blood. Okay, data is purely synthetic, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Totally easy.
I was totally hoping for a small wonder data.
Right!
Blinking lights underneath the chest plate.
I want to
whatever.
rip this kid's face off
Exactly.
and see circuits and wires.
It's still moving around.
Right.
Teeth.
But we never have that moment because apparently he's an organic life form except for part of his brain is a computer?
Yeah, doctors won't notice that he's not human.
Yeah, exactly. He'll grow like a human boy. He's I'm just thinking no, you just made a kid and stuck a calculator in him.
Yeah.
So who's his mom and dad? Where's the DNA coming from? How did you grow him? Where did he come from?
Just stuff. Stuff laying around. Kid parts.
That raises even more questions.
Got tons of them laying around.
Not that I would put it past the government, but I have a lot of questions. Oh, it's so creepy. It does it just Yeah, at one point they even show I think it's what's supposed to be the inside of his brain, and it's basically just the Maze screensaver from Microsoft. Yeah. I mean, granted, that's kind of what's in my brain too. Oh my God, am I a computer? Dennis, no, wait, don't open me up.
I gotta say, like, computer-wise, it's not as bad as it would get later.
That doesn't say much, Dennis.
I know, but I mean, like when you think of, like, hackers, movies like Sneakers and...
Oh, what is it? The Cell?
Yeah, like just when they...
Lawnmower Man.
You know, Lawnmower Man, when they try to show how computers work, like, it's just, they just go off the rails because it's writers that don't know how to use computers and...
Oh, what is it? Like The Net?
Yeah.
That movie, right?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, but look, this is just an early version of that.
I know.
This is just as dumb as any of that.
It's funny because, like, you know, we just saw that movie, Unidentified Flying Eyeball.
That was a better movie.
And this movie is like half that movie.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
Like, it's here's this nice robot that was grown, and he's exactly the same as a person. And
that still is a better movie than this, weirdly enough.
Well, yeah, because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
This doesn't have any ridiculousness at all. It's trying to be serious, and it's like, why are you being serious about this ridiculous thing?
You know, it's funny you bring up Unidentified Flying Oddball. So this movie was filmed in Orlando. It's not a Disney film. It feels like a Disney film. This feels so much like a live-action Disney film, except for the fact that Turtle, his best friend, swears constantly. To a degree that I was just kind of, like, surprised, to be honest. Because everybody...
I mean... You know, E.T. has penis breath.
I know.
And I think that opened the floodgates for what you can do with kids.
I have a feeling that was a little bit earlier because, although I've never actually seen the whole thing, I think that you had...
Bad News Bears?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
Right.
Like, Bad News Bears is sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
But it feels weird in this one. I think in part because, like, these kids are, like, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Like, they look real young.
Yeah.
So this was all filmed in, or like, either Orlando or... I mean, yeah, there was some stuff in, like, England apparently, but a lot of it was in Orlando.
And it's the same place where Ernest Saves Christmas was filmed.
It was, but what's weird to me is, so Ernest Saves Christmas is a Disney movie. This is Paramount or Columbia. It depends on, like, because I'm looking at IMDb, and they're like, well, it was, when we watched it, it said Paramount. When we looked it up on IMDb, they said something about Columbia Studios. But the point being is, it's not Disney World. I mean, it's not the Disney Studios, except all of, like, the government computer lab stuff was filmed at Epcot. So you've got at least 3 different major studios working on this stupid movie, and they still couldn't come up with anything even half as good as E.T. Like, I'm just baffled by this thing that exists. The first hour or so, I was kind of like, well, this is interesting. This is different. And as soon as the government shows up...
It feels like a toned down, like, one of those Disney movies.
Yeah. If you could tone down a Disney film, but then throw in, like, a lot of swearing children, that's what you would have. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But also some death.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of dead scientists. Which is fine because they really caused this whole problem to begin with.
Yeah.
Basically, he decides to escape. We have, like, a whole thing where he steals a jet, and not like an airliner jet, like a what would you call an Air Force jet? Yeah, it was like the Raven or something.
Yeah, the something 38. What was that called?
There were only like 38 of them made.
That's what. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's some sort of, you know, government plane. And so he steals it, and then they try to blow it up and blow him up. And
SR-71 Blackbird.
Sure, it's nothing I've ever heard of, because there were only, as I said, it's like the F-15 of its time.
Yeah.
You know, the government has thrown away more money on, like, special planes that don't work. It's amazing, but
Chuck Yeager's flown this thing.
Chuck Yeager's crashed this thing, and good for him. American hero, crashing planes left and right.
Maybe for the same reason, to escape the government, to keep from being found out as a robot.
So he steals the plane and is able to eject before they blow it up, and runs off to find Turtle. And he ends up goes right into the lake.
Yeah.
And
sinks right to the bottom. Because it turns out he's actually 2,000 pounds.
None of this makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, why does he sink?
Yeah.
Why is it like, so they throw him in the water, right? And he drowns. But he drowns not because he's a human boy. He's, again, 99% like, you know, organic material.
Yeah.
He drowns because he's a computer.
I guess, or maybe because he's on that chair, on the chair.
They
that-
don't.
I don't
It
know.
doesn't make any sense. But he gets fished out and sent to the hospital, and he dies.
Yeah.
Right. But Turtle says
Not
no,
that they show that scene at all,
No.
because that would be interesting.
right.
No, they just kind of just show them leaving, crying.
Exactly. We don't see him die. We don't see any sort of tearful, reunion between him and Turtle. Nothing. All of a sudden, it's just all of them sadly leaving the hospital and going back to one of their houses. And it's just them sitting around going, it's so sad, it's so sad. And Turtle saying, he can't die because, and I wrote this down. Let me see. Turtle says something to the effect of, oh, you can't kill him. He's a computer. It doesn't matter what, just because he went into the water, he can't just die. So I thought about two things. One, if he is, as they say, mostly organic material, no, he's dead. That's number one. He drowned. Okay. He stopped breathing. Number two, Turtle's argument is he can't have died because he went into the water. He's a computer and computers don't die. Let me tell you something. I have dropped computers in water. They die.
No, so Turtle's argument is his cogent argument is
Cogent?
yes, is that that brains need oxygen to live,
Yeah.
and when a human goes into the water, they don't have oxygen, and the brain dies. But because his brain is a computer, it can't die.
No, that's
Ergo life.
no, none of that makes any sense. Like, oh God. So
Are you doubting Turtle's logic here?
listen, I understand Turtle is a Nobel Prize winning biologist, but I think there's some flaws here in his logic. So
But Deus Ex
Science.
yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. What?
Deus Ex Science Lady.
Yes. So the other scientist who created D.A.R.Y.L happens to be in the hospital and basically says to D.A.R.Y.L, "Hey, I know you can hear me. Wake up." Next thing you know, we see a scene of D.A.R.Y.L running through the streets to the house where everybody is waiting for him, and that's the end of the movie. He's alive.
He's alive and going to live with them for now, and
I guess.
like he's
Because I guess the government won't come after him.
I mean, he can change computers. I guess he can create
But
an
why is he
identity.
alive?
I don't know.
Why is he alive? No. Okay, like this is okay. Aside from this movie doesn't make any sense, right? Like he should not be alive. Either he drowned because he is an organic life form, because most of him is organic, or he drowned because you can't throw a computer into the water and expect it to keep working. Trust me. Okay. So like he can't have just come back to life because scientist lady basically acts as like God and says, "Hey kid, get up." And also, what's
You know what? She's like Trinity in the Matrix. Neo, you can't die because I love you.
I'm not a big Matrix person.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are, and that's fine. Like, look, for whatever reason, it did not hit me the way it hit other people. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really dumb resolution for the Matrix. You gotta admit, right? That's really dumb. Here's the thing. Like,
It's the power of love, man. Power of love.
No.
Didn't Huey Lewis teach you anything?
He taught me I need a new drug.
He taught you that it's hip to be square.
Trust me, it's not.
Look at D.A.R.Y.L. He's square as can be. He doesn't know what hooker is.
Oh my God. This movie. So, yeah. He's just alive. And what's frustrating, so here's this dumb movie. We don't get a death scene.
No.
We don't get a resurrection scene.
Oh, we do have the scientist dies. That's a death
No,
scene.
we don't get Daryl's death
Oh,
scene.
death. Yeah, I know.
Daryl, the guy the movie is named after.
Right.
We don't see him die.
Yeah, we don't see him roll a boulder away from his tomb.
Right. Exactly. Nothing. No touch my side.
No.
No look at my hands. No, nothing. All of a sudden he just shows up and let's play baseball or whatever. Like E.T. Again, I can't stop thinking about the movie E.T. Now,
Yeah.
E.T. is a great movie. E.T. is a weird movie, actually. When you really sit and think about the movie E.T., it's really weird. But, we get E.T. dying. We get E.T. coming back to life.
Yeah.
We get E.T., we get all sorts of amazing like visuals.
We
And
get all the money shots.
we do! This is a movie of nothing but edging, and I got no satisfaction from it.
Oh.
Oh no, that feels wrong to say about this. Jesus Christ. I don't like this. So I have nothing else to say. This movie's not good.
Nah. It's not that it's not the worst. The thing is that
I've seen worse films, but
the thing is that like once I saw him in the helmet, I was like, oh, that's where I know him from. Like that was in commercials. Was him in the helmet?
The kid
in the plane? Yeah.
Oh.
And I remembered that. And the thing is, the 80s were all about vehicles. So you had the General Lee, you have Airwolf,
Yeah.
you have the Screaming Mimi from Riptide, another helicopter.
Nobody watched Riptide, Dennis.
But it seemed like they were trying to get cooler and cooler vehicles, and
Yeah.
they kept kind of ramping up to it went to cars to helicopters and like so. There's a movie called Firefox that I think is on the list, and that's Clint Eastwood, and that's where it's a jet.
Uh-huh.
So this seemed to be like they were trying to tie into the whole big vehicle, the bigger vehicle zeitgeist of the 80s with that. But so that's all I remembered was just the shot of D.A.R.Y.L, and then here he is with this helmet, this big helmet, goofy helmet, flying this big jet. I was like, yeah, I don't want to see that movie.
You know what? Turns out you were right.
My instincts were
Yeah,
correct.
absolutely.
Because it's just so long.
It's shockingly long. It's much
Yeah.
longer than it deserves to be.
And it's long, and it just there's no edges to it.
It is a rubber ball of a movie.
There's an evil, you know what? There's an evil general dude, and then at the end there's two evil general dudes, and I'm like, wait, where did you come from?
And also, they're not even characters.
Yeah,
When you think of evil general guys, when I think of stuff like that, I think of what's his name? Was it Barry Corbin in War Games?
yeah.
Who's great.
Yeah, there's so many kind of war games like
Oh, yeah.
echoes in this,
Yeah.
but like War Games is just so much better.
War Games is a great movie. This is
Yeah.
not War Games. E.T. is a great movie. This is not E.T.
Yeah,
This is a whole bunch of movies that I've seen with all of the edges sanded off, given the production values of like a Wonderworks special. Like, this is nothing.
it sounds like they thought this was going to be a big hit.
Yeah, Hollywood thinks a lot of things.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. But
Boy.
it was just so safe.
That was D.A.R.Y.L, starring Barret Oliver, Michael McKean, Mary Beth Hurt, Catherine Walker, Colleen Camp, Joseph Summer. There's not a lot of people really in it that you would recognize. Honest to God, it's like pretty much Michael McKean and Barret Oliver, and that's about it. Written by David Ambrose, Allan Scott, and Jeffrey Ellis, and directed by Simon Wincer. And I was wincing the whole time. Anyway, you can follow us on social media. We are Mary VS Movies on all of your major platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, X/Twitter, Mastodon, all the rest of them. Except for Tumblr, which, as of course we have said, is Mary versus the movies, and we don't know why. We're on all your major platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, where you can rate and review the show, and we would so appreciate it if you did. The more ratings we get, the more reviews we get, the more people might actually see our show. Listen to our show. You know what I mean by that. Let's see. We are on. What's the other ones? We're on Spotify. We're on. What did you just bring up? Good Pods or something?
Good Pod.
Yeah, Good Pod. That's another one of those podcasting resources. Pretty much, if you look up our RSS feed, we're on, we use Libsyn, so we're pretty much available anywhere, I think, because we use Libsyn. So, and because we use Libsyn, that costs money. So we have a Patreon where for $3 a month you help support the show and pay for things like our Libsyn account and our Zoom account for interviews and stuff. But you also get access to our second podcast, Hollywood Avalon, where we watch Arthurian movies. We just had an episode out on Camelot. That's part 1. Part 2 on Camelot will be coming hopefully by the end of the month. We've done things like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, The Kid Who Would Be King, First Night. We brought up Unidentified Flying Oddball, and that we did that. So yeah, if you're really curious about movies that are like Arthurian and are all over the place, please sign up for our Patreon. That's patreon.com/MaryVSMovies. Next episode is a little bit up in the air. We're hoping to have another D movie, but I don't want to say what it is in case we don't get to it because we've just been really busy. It's been like that kind of a spring. So hopefully, we'll have something next week. So, all right. Should we put this terrible movie to bed?
Sure.
All right. Well, until next time.
I hope I get away with this.
Oh my God, I didn't even bring up how stupid that was. You know what, folks? Just trust me. That was bad.